All right guys, before we get into today's video that showcases all of our destruction from last video, including this debacle, we're gonna talk about Upside and how it can earn us more money to pay for more transmissions. Upside is a free app that gets you cashback rewards for essentials like gas, food, dining. So Upside is actually very useful for us. I'll show you guys the app here. These are all of our local gas stations near us that offer Upside cashback rewards, but it's also very useful for us because we're racing and traveling all over the country. This weekend we're getting ready to go down to North Carolina for bragging rights. This is going to come in very handy. We spend tons of money on the road at fuel stops, quick lunch stops. Upside is going to be a very useful tool for us. There are over 100,000 gas stations, restaurants, and grocery stores on the Upside app to choose from. It's super simple to use. Just claim their offers, pay like normal with your credit or debit card, follow the steps in the app, and get paid. So no confusing rewards. It's real cash back that you transfer into your bank account. To get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas, click the link in the description to find out how much you can earn by using our code Gen2Garage to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas. Or you can scan the QR code, I'll put it right here, to claim this offer. So like I said, click the link in the description, scan the QR code. Let's get into today's video. Thank you to Upside for sponsoring today's video. You guys ready to see some carnage? Yes. Oh boy. It bent my X brace. That's unfortunate. Yeah, bent it real good. Wow, that's insane. Oh yeah, wow, look at the bottom of my cab.
You guys unplug stuff?
No, it came unplugged on its own.
That's just a knock sensor
The
connector.
shifter cable came off too. Knocked it right off.
Gnarly. Keep adding up the dollars. Oh, the block looks good. And we'll see about the converter here in a second, but we'll probably be careful standing under this thing because the only thing really holding this transmission in is the cross member.
Dude, I think it was the tail shaft. Something in there probably went first from the vibrations of the drive shaft.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well,
I mean, if it was just that, I would say.
there is a hole. Dude. Wow. I'm glad nothing tried to go through the cab and kill you, but there's holes in the bottom of my cab. Yeah. That really sucks. That's not ideal.
Block looks okay.
Yeah. I'm happy about that. The cheapest part survived.
Got your exhaust too.
Oh, fuck. It.
Wow. And you know how hard that stainless is too.
Look at the pinion.
Get through that clamp. It's gone.
Oh yeah, it was your clamp.
Look at the pinion.
Oh my goodness.
How do I even mess up that bad? Just like clean, sheared off.
It had to have been the drive shaft speed.
I can't believe how bad it tore up the cab.
Yeah.
Jesus.
At least it's a straight part. It's easy to fix.
My goodness.
If you want to continue with the rear setup.
What is holding the transmission in right now? Because there's not a lot of that left. And
Just your cross member, it looks like. And
is there any bell housing bolts still? No. So,
well, the converter is holding
careful
up in
now.
the front.
Okay. Well,
Out
that's
of the converter.
Jesus.
See your converters holding it up here.
Let's get the trans lifter under this thing. I'm a little nervous about what exactly is still holding it in.
Not much.
Not much. So let's get the lifter under it.
This might be the easiest transmission removal ever. It half removed itself.
I honestly don't know what was holding in the, like, the only thing holding in the transmission was
Converter.
the converter and what's left of the tail housing right there. Very little. Kind of sketchy standing underneath it until we put this thing under it.
I barely grabbed that right there and it just fell apart.
Oh. Yeah, that wasn't even attached.
So it was held in by the converter alone.
I think so.
That wasn't doing anything.
So you were like, is it out of the converter? I'm like, no.
Well, that's good. The converter's probably all right.
Yeah.
Let's pray.
That's
Right
probably
here.
best case scenario.
Pray very
yeah.
hard. That's your input shaft? Mm-hmm.
I mean, the splines don't look bad from where I'm at.
I just don't know if it has a sprag, what it did to that.
It's gonna need sent back at the very minimum, and they'll tell me what's wrong with it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So, nothing up here broke. Except for the bell housing. Well, the whole trans is probably trying to do this, you know, because the drive shaft's doing this.
Yeah.
It's out of round and oscillating. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the drive shaft cause this. That's gotta be the only thing. That makes sense.
Turn it over a little bit.
Oh, this sucks.
Okay.
What do you think?
Carnage. Lots of it.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that the engine's okay. I know Billy shut it off, and it was still running, but it looks like there's threads pulled out of the bell housing, bolt holes, and it's an aluminum block. Yeah. Not a good day at the dyno yesterday. You missed out, Kenny.
How'd the mount?
Alrighty. Well, I just got gripped on. Our ceiling's leaking. Dang it. Truck's parked. Unfortunately, it's going to be parked for a couple months. I guess we'll just kind of go over like what we think the culprit was. I mean, a lot of people have pretty much already probably came to their own conclusion, or if you've seen what happened to the Biscayne, shortly after what happened to my truck, we all decided that critical speed was the problem. And I didn't even know about critical speed, but we'll go over here and look at the drive shaft. So honestly, we've never really worried about, like the only time I've seen a drive shaft break is like on the starting line. Like I've seen aluminum drive shafts break on the hit, or like carbon fiber drive shafts exploding on the hit. But like I never really, it's just never been a problem for us, and that's mainly because we've always built cars that are under 114 inch wheelbase, usually, like normal short cars, regular wheelbase cars. This thing is 117 and a half inches long. So, you know, which isn't insanely long considering the Biscayne is 120 inches long. Its drive shaft was actually 63 inches long. This one was 58 inches long. And I think like for the Billy's S10, for example, is 53, 54 inches, which that's a little more, you know, that's pretty average. And as you can see, This is a 3.5-inch mild steel 110 wall drive shaft. I thought it was an 83, but I actually got the calipers out. It's 110, which makes it stronger but heavier. So, and weight is what really will get you on the critical speed thing, because the longer the drive shaft is, the more weight, but it's also just that, and if you look at both of our drive shafts, they broke right in the middle almost. And basically what happens is once you go past that critical speed point, the drive shaft just starts jump roping and oscillating. And you'll notice that it actually happened in the video as soon as Billy let off from the pool. And that's a really common thing. I've talked to a ton of people that it's happened to, which apparently, you know, there's two schools of people. It's like the people that are like me who didn't even know it was a problem. And then there's the people like, oh yeah, you should have known better.
There's the people that it hasn't happened to, and there's the people that it has happened
yeah,
to.
Right.
If it hasn't happened to you, you probably don't know about it.
So, you know, it's just silly. Like, we live and we learn, right? But I've talked to a ton of people. They said, you know, as soon as you let off, that's when it happens. It's that sharp rate of deacceleration, I guess, after it's jump roping. And you know, the other thing too is dynos are really hard on a drive line. You know, we're strapping these cars down super hard on the dyno, and they physically can't move. Like, it's not going through its normal separation or anything. And then just the load is so much different than what these race cars are seeing on the track. There's no spinning. Like, it's not going to spin on that dyno the way that we have it set up. So it's just going to receive a lot of load. And I think a lot of times you might be past critical speed. Like, we started calculating it. Billy's Nova has a steel drive shaft in it. It really shouldn't, probably. But we usually on the 8th mile race. But Christmas tree race, that was quarter mile, and he was doing the math, and he was a few hundred RPM over critical speed. But I think you can really get away with it. We calculated in the Dakota, its drive shaft is what, 62 inches?
Yeah.
And it's a 3.5-inch steel drive shaft from your average, you know, truck shop in your in-town truck shop. So we had a lot of thinking to do. We're like, wow, we need to really step up our drive shaft game. But again, it's never been a problem because we're just not in that area of, you know, once you get past about 56 inches drive shaft length, you start getting into like the 5,700 to 6,700 RPM range, drive shaft RPM, and that's when a lot of the steel drive shafts break. So yeah, we live and we learn. I literally called it on the Biscayne. I was like, you know how long the drive shaft is on this thing, and also is it stock? And it was yes and yes. So you know, it is what it is. But obviously it tore up a lot of stuff. It pulled some of the bell housing bolts out of the block. It's aluminum block, so you know, we're gonna have to helicoil that. Obviously we saw the transmission, that's already up at Dion's. I really don't think it was the transmission's fault. We've never had a problem with the Vickers Battle Axe transmission. They're just the most gangster. We beat on them so hard, and it's never been a problem. You know, I've talked about it with Dion, and like we came to the same conclusion. It had to have been. I mean, nothing internally in the transmission exploded. It's just the case broke, basically. Like,
It was like, oh, the drive shaft basically like ripped it off.
Pretty much.
It was spinning so hard.
And I mean, you see what it did to the pinion.
Mm-hmm.
It sheared the pinion off. So both sides of that drive shaft
took everything with it.
Took everything with it. So I am going to take advantage of this situation. We are going to make some changes. I did have a 411 gear in the rear end, 410, 411, whatever you consider it. And I'm going to go down gear, if you consider it that. It's
just say what you're going to go to.
Whichever way you're going to look at it. But we're going to probably go to a 350 gear. That'll put our starting line ratio at 8 something. Right now it's like 10 something, which is okay. It's a little aggressive. But I think if we go lower on the starting line ratio, it'll help load the turbos and first gear and get us to help us build some more boost, because obviously we're having a problem with that.
Your exhaust?
My exhaust, since some of the exhaust got damaged down there, we might go down to 2 1/4 stainless pipe. Should try and help with it building boost. It's 2 1/2 all the way to the turbos. I figure we might as well choke it down even more. And I don't think it's gonna, you know, that might limit us to 2,000 horsepower, but we're not making that to begin with. So like, I don't care if we choke it down in the exhaust. I need that velocity to get that exhaust pressure from the tiny 5.3 to the big old 76s. And honestly, if I had it my way, I'd probably go down to 67s as well, because those turbos are good for 2,400 horsepower, and we're never going to see that on this thing. I don't care if we put a freaking 427 in. I don't think we'll ever see that thing, but you know, one day. And obviously the X brace is bent. That really sucked. But what sucked the absolute most is we just got this gangster converter from Circle D, and it made a world of difference, man. And yet we didn't really get to test it on track. We made some street hits, and it finally spun for once. But we didn't get to do any real testing besides on the dyno, and it was very promising. I was very happy with how it came up on the trans brake. But unfortunately, we're going to have to send it back to them. I already called my guy at Circle D. They're going to take care of us, and I'm very thankful for that, because I am being a pain in the ass here. This was a very nice converter, and I've already sent metal through it. So hopefully it's not too bad, but huge thank you to Circle D for taking care of me on this, because I know, I mean, and they said, you know, this isn't the first time, this isn't the last time something like this happens. You go, you put a new part in, you go and test it, you break something because you find that next weakest link. And so that's what we did, and it'll be all right. But we're going to be down for a couple months. It really sucks. Just going to have to financially rebuild. You know, we're going to have to buy a new rear end. Transmission's already at Dion, so we'll be getting it. We already got a 4L80 core for them. And we're going to have to get an aluminum drive shaft. So we're probably going to go to a 4-inch aluminum. If not, it should get me to like 165 to 170 mile an hour. There's all kinds of calculators online that you can calculate whatever. 58-inch long drive shaft should get me into like 6,800 drive shaft RPM with a 355 gear. That should get me to like 165 mile an hour. So that should be good enough to go 850s in the quarter. But also, we only race 8th mile for 99% of the year. So I'll never go that late. So with all the destruction I think that we've covered, I think that's going to wrap it up. I should sign this and give this away in a random shirt order or something. All my pieces of transmission. But yeah, so that's what's in plans. That's all I have to say.
Oh, you've also named your truck.
Oh yeah, I think we got a shirt design coming. We're gonna start working on, and I'm gonna name the truck Critical Speed.
It's earned the name.
It's earned the name, so Critical Speed it is, I guess. I don't know. I was thinking like everybody names their Chevy Silverado like Charlene or some kind of sweet name. Critical Speed.
Critical Speed.
Yeah, it earned it. So. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. We're getting ready to head down to streetcar bragging rights in North Carolina. I plan on taking this thing to run index, but obviously that's not happening. So Allison and I will be hanging out. Come say hi. We're going to be filming. No racing for us. We're just going to be there to support. But yeah, see you guys then. See you in the next video. Thank you guys for your support.